During the 4th of July week last summer, I was fortunate enough to fish for some big smallies using a favorite tactic of mine. My brother and cousin were able to join me as well on this journey. In this episode, we will show you how to catch huge smallmouth bass in crystal clear water so that you may have the same success that we had. No fancy equipment, no unneeded drama, just pure unadulterated fishing at its finest. We hope you enjoyed this video as much as we have. Hey folks, Drew Sylvester here. I'm out on the water today. As you can see, it's a beautiful morning. Today we're going to be fishing for smallmouth bass, and we're going to be using a method that is my favorite technique personally. It's called sight fishing. It's one of the most exciting ways to catch these fish, and there's some lunkers today, and we're going to catch them. Stay tuned. Water, cast it right to him, past him, fish swam up and just ate it. It looks like a nice smallie here. Oh, there, big guy. Come on. Taking me around the boat. Oh, don't go into that motor. Come on. I'm surprised I even saw this guy with this choppy water. There we go. Play it quick. Smallmouth bass. Caught sight fishing. Jigging a grub. Real simple. He is 18, not a monster, but real nice fish. Let's get this guy back in the water. And there he goes. Alright, so now I'm going to show you what I'm using for today. First, I'm using these little jigs here. I like these jigs as opposed to ones here that have sort of a rounded bend into them. I like the ones with that actually have more of an angle, because fish don't tend to get off as easily. I tend to have better hook sets with these. So for colors, I like to usually use real natural colors. The lakes that I fish are real clear, so I tend to stay away from bright oranges and neon greens, stuff like that. I like to use real natural baits. Whites tend to work good. Probably my favorite is this sort of green pumpkin seed. Sometimes plastics aren't working, so sometimes I need to switch over to a hair jig right here like I tied. Just again, real natural colors. If you're fishing in water that's maybe not quite so clear, I go with a red and white. or just a plain white. And as you can see here, I built a casting deck here because my boat doesn't have them. So because the goal when you're sight fishing these fish is to get up as high above the water as you can, so you can look down in the water and you'll have a better viewing angle. So my boat obviously didn't have a casting deck, so me and my dad built a couple. They're ugly, so that's alright. We don't care about that. All we care about is catching fish. Also, another thing you need definitely are a good set of polarized sunglasses. You can get them for as cheap as $5-10, but it's probably worth it to get ones that are a little more expensive. Good ones will probably run you $50 all the way up to $200. For a rod and reel, what I like to use is, I'm not too specific on brands, but I like to just use a regular bass-sized reel and a medium heavy action, medium fast tip spinning rod, excuse me. And I like to use fluorocarbon for line because, once again, these fish are real spooky, so you don't want them to be able to see your line, so braid is totally out of the question. So mono works, but I really like fluorocarbon because it's invisible underwater. And that's about it. As you can see here, I'm only fishing for these fish in anywhere from 3 feet to 1.5 feet of water. These fish are in the shallow water for one simple reason: to feed. As soon as you spot a fish, turn off your trolling motor and don't make any noise that would spook them. When you cast, throw the lure a few feet in front of them to catch their attention. Throwing a bait directly on top of them will only cause them to spook and swim off. Now, depending on each fish, you may not even need to move the jig once it has fallen in the water. For some other fish, though, you may need to swim the jig a few feet to catch their attention. Got some fight to them. Come on, big guy. There's a nice one. In. There we go. There we go. Nice smallmouth bass, probably 16 inches. Not a giant, but still a nice fish. One thing you want to make sure you do is be aware of your surroundings. Like when there's birds flying in the air, like right there, when you see birds, that means that they're chasing fish, small minnows and such. And when there's small fish, there's going to be big fish. Up here we have a big rock pile. That's where smallmouths like to hang out. So what I like to do is just slowly creep my way up to it. Try not to spook these fish. Be real stealthy. In this clip here, we have my cousin Hunter who was able to join us for a morning. We got on some fish and he hooked up to a beautiful smallmouth. Despite having bad line and a reel with no drag, he fought the fish perfectly and we were able to land this smallie. Fighting good, isn't he?
Yeah, buddy.
Caught sight fishing. Well, shouldn't say caught yet, but. Bud, what you using for bait there? You wacky worming it?
Wacky worming it, baby.
Wacky worming sight fishing.
I could figure out my back reel on this. It's like stuck.
checking. How's your drag?
My drag is crap on this.
Ooh, that is a bad drag. Oh, that's a nice one.
There you go. That's a big fish.
Whoa, whoa. Nice smallie.
Just nailed it.
I might have to
We need
go from the jig to the wacky worm.
We need the net.
I'll lip it.
You're gonna whip it?
Yeah. If you want me to,
Go for
it's
it.
your fish, but
Go for the
Oh,
whip.
yeah.
That's a nice fish
that's
right
a
there.
good looking bass.
There you go.
Beautiful smallie. Oh, he's going under the boat. He's going around the boat. I killed the motor, so we're okay. Oh, going up and over. There you go. Now he's going under. This fish has got some fight to him, folks.
Where's your...
Yeah, I'll get that out of the way. Oh, we can't put him in the water.
There he was.
There he is. Oh. Hang on,
That fish.
wait till he's ready. Got him. There you go, bud.
That's a nice fish.
Hold that fish of yours, bud. There we go.
Look
You
at
boy.
that.
Big smallmouth bass. Sight fishing.
Hooked in the upper lip.
Perfect hook. See how long this guy is. I'm gonna say he's 19 to 20. That fish is, hang on, 18, right on the dot. Nice fish. Get that hook out of there and set this fish free. Hook is out. Here you go, bud. Release him back.
There he goes. On
Swimming
our side
off.
of the boat.
In this clip here, it was time for my brother to put down the camera for once and catch himself a smallie. As you can see, we are fishing a different location, but it goes to show that sight fishing does not only apply to shallow, small bodies of water. Many pros use this technique out on the Great Lakes to catch these fish in the early summer that are otherwise deep the rest of the year. Put up a good fight, didn't he?
Yeah.
Nice looking smallmouth bass right there. Oh yeah. And there he goes. Oh, shaking it off. Nice fish, buddy. On the second morning of fishing, we were finally able to tie into that giant smallmouth we had been looking for. Now he knows he's hooked. Pull and drag. Oh. I think this he's still got a lot of fight left in him. Oh, this is crazy. Come on, big guy. Oh, he's jumping, he's jumping. Come on now, fish.
Need the net?
Nope. Yeah, let's net this guy. Holy cow, folks. This is a nice smallmouth bass. Let's get him out of the net there. Oh. Look at that hog, folks. Big smallmouth bass, sight fishing. Does not get any better than this. Folks, this fish is probably close to 5 pounds at least. Okay, this looks free. All right, let's get him on a tape quick. That fish is, oh my gosh. Look at that, folks.
22.
22 inches, right on the dot. 22-inch smallmouth, ladies and gentlemen. Doesn't get any better than that. Sight fishing, that is awesome. Let's get this guy back in the water. They just don't give up, do they? This is crazy. Come on. Oh, he got off.